what was the whole like, I'll narrative around the marketplace and the why
Yeah.
and the vision and I think you bring a lot of context for folks that just haven't, this is new to them, right?
Yeah. Thanks, Michael. And feel free to chime in. You've been along in this journey quite a bit as well. So feel free to add what I'm missing. So Marketplace, as Michael said, started a little over 10 years ago. The vision for Marketplace is to be the Amazon.com for B2B software. So the one place where you can buy everything. We started off kind of, you can essentially for the shadow IT. Uh, Developer can come in, download an AMI and start playing around. And then we switched over, I think, a little somewhere along the line due to customer demand saying, hey, we would like to transact through Marketplace, transact large contracts. And that's where we kind of did a student body left, if you will, to really solving the private offer business. So Michael mentioned the CPPO done on paper, how pretty much everything is now automated. We have, if you have done a listing, Andrew hopefully can attest to this. It used to be a manual process with spreadsheets, and it could take forever. We have expedited that, and you can now, it's all kind of a lot more automated. So we are definitely coming closer and closer to that vision of Amazon.com for B2B. Where I came in is we this shift to marketplace private offers kind of took our eye off the ball a little on where we started, which is product-led growth. And if you think about AWS, we are a PLG company with over 10 billion, with over 10, with over 100 billion in revenue. And but we started AWS as in 2006, we had one service and it was the S3. You could pay as you go at 15 cents a gigabyte. And this was how the whole AWS service started. Fast forward to about 2010 was when we launched free tier. And this is where I believe we really started taking off because you could get a whole set of services for free for up to a year, and you can still do that. And what this does is you could build applications on AWS for free, try it out. And this is how we started penetrating into the enterprise space. Now, PLG, for those who don't know it, is product-led growth, which relies on a customer, uh, typically a builder persona, somebody who's a DevOps engineer, a networking engineer, for them to start, try the product for free, and then they like it enough that they're willing to pay for it. And this then can become into a long-term private offer. So what this requires is you need a lot of customers who will try your product for free. Now, this is where if you take a look at our 2014 report, we had mentioned we have 1 million plus active customers. This was when we had 5 billion roughly in annual revenue. We're now at 108 billion in revenue. So we probably have added a few customers along the way. So if you get a sense of how many there are, you can take a look at some of the stats that were published last year. Each year, the uh, I'm forgetting the name of the company that runs these surveys. They had run a survey that essentially looks at developers trying to figure out what are their most popular um, development platforms. 45% of professional developers in this survey have developed on AWS a significant application over the last year. And if you think about the number of certifications we give, that also gives you a proxy into how many developers there are. We have given over 1.5 million AWS certifications on some of these key areas: security, machine learning, DevOps. So you can look at this as a proxy of the millions of developers that you can access through PLG. I'll take a
Yeah. So I
pause
think
here.
this, yeah, I was going to say this sets the stage for kind of like what this is, what the opportunity, how AWS uses this kind of sales motion themselves. And then, let's say a company like PeerSpot, Andrew just mentioned his good news today, but they as a company would have had to probably a few months ago say, hey, we sell stuff. We're already in business, but we want to open the aperture. Maybe we want to transact this way. So like, what's the process? We don't have to spend a lot of time, but if I'm new to this call and this subject and I want to investigate this for my company, like, how do I do that?
Yeah. So if you want to start with product-led growth, so we've kind of developed the opportunity, right? You have millions of developers. We also have a, a lot of small businesses. This is going to be an area. So now, if you want to tap into this marketplace, we have a program called AWS Marketplace Seller Prime. So this does presuppose that you have listed on Marketplace already, and you have what we will call a PLG aligned product. You can dip your toes in the water, if you will. You say, "Hey, I don't want to take uh, any commitments, but I want to see what product-led growth is." We give you a way you can think of this as our free trial. So you register on our site, and this gives you access to our entire go-to-market kit. You can look at that to say, how do I talk to AWS customers? You know, your marketing team knows how to talk to your customers, but there are nuances to talking to AWS customers and reaching them. This is where our team comes into play. We give you this access, and you can look at web analytics. Typically, uh, customers, ISVs on Marketplace have complained that they don't have access to who's getting to their product, who's seeing that. We give you access to that as well. So that's on a kind of free trial basis. Now, if you want to enroll and take a goal, the goal is fairly modest. It's about 300 subs a year. You need to have a PLG ready product. This will mean you need a free trial. You need to support a low cost approach. This can be pay as you go. It can be a monthly subs. Typically, it's like, how do you go to market outside of Marketplace? We want to support that in Marketplace as well. And to support your efforts, we will give you 40K in MDF. This is actually going to get a lot more richer in this year, but we are still going to the finance gurus and getting permissions and approvals. But we expect this 40K to become a lot more richer in 2026. So stay tuned for that. So now, once you've activated your marketing motions and you're getting up to 10 subs a month, we also can give you, if you're working with a 3PI, and a 3PI is typically somebody who can help you list. I don't know, Andrew, if you've used a 3PI to list on Marketplace, but they can help you accelerate that process of listing in Marketplace. Through one of our programs, you can also get credits for listing and reaching up to about 10 subs a month. And this is where AWS will start kicking in our own marketing engine. We will start featuring you in our marketing campaigns so that you can get to that 25 free trials a month goal that you sign up for when you enter. So for those who are interested, that QR code will take you to the enrollment page where you can enroll for the Seller Plan program.
Yeah, I'll translate this. Being at a SaaS at two different ISVs, independent software vendors, but both of them that I was at is actually my second time in Vinod's program. But I found, I got to the company there, it had a PLG motion. Maybe my CMO owned it versus my CRO. Like different companies organized this, but it was important to the company. And I found that the only path to do this was on our website, and the only way you could pay for it was maybe credit card. And so just explaining this to my company and opening the aperture, then understanding some of the programmatic, the gifts, the visibility, this is where it kind of makes sense is like, well, instead of it just coming the on-ramp through our website, what if the on-ramp was also through the AWS Marketplace? In exchange for doing that, look, we got credits to pay for some of the services we needed to buy, or in this case, to grow our marketing engine or to throw additional marketing dollars to drive that behavior, that on ramp. The second is even in both paths now, let's say you start through our website, but you get to the point where your free trial ends or the credits that we give you for free ends, and then you need to pay for it. Well, one path is, yeah, you can put in your credit card and continue billing as an independent developer working for a company. Or the second path is, I like to call it, you could use your AWS credit card or this marketplace, your account, and now you have another way of billing that back to your company. In both companies, I have found that transacting in that marketplace using your AWS account, actually, I saw our conversion rates were anywhere from 20 to 40% higher. And I always think like, why is that? Well, it's pretty obvious. Like if I'm a developer and I have to like run my credit card and do an expense report and get reimbursed for my, there's a lot of manual steps in that. Whereas a lot of developers or individual smaller teams have spending thresholds. And so maybe spending one, five, 10, $100,000 a month is like well within their budget. And they could just do that. They already have their AWS billing account set up. It's already part of the consolidated billing. And so this is kind of an open idea for if you're an ISV, you're already selling software, maybe you do have a PLG motion. This is just another on-ramp and path that you can start considering for your own company.
Yeah,
So,
I'll just add one more point to that, which Michael mentioned, which is kind of paying with AWS credit card, if you will. We've seen like Databricks has seen phenomenal growth through this buy with AWS. So essentially, I have a free trial. Now I've come to the decision point. Do I want to pay with credit card or do I want to pay with my AWS account? Given that a lot of big, large enterprises have PPAs, this falls into that as well. So I would strongly encourage kind of anyone
yeah.
considering to do that.
Yeah, in product upgrades, there's a lot of creative paths that I think, all of these APIs and facilities exist in the marketplace today, 2026. It didn't exist years ago. So I think there's a lot more to investigate, but baby steps is like, does this make sense for your company? Do you already have this motion, or is this important to your CEO, your CTO, or is this important on ramps? And then you can start to integrate this in. And that's what we do as kind of partner leaders here.